My best friend helped me plan my wedding, but on the big day, she revealed something about my fiancé that changed everything. Up until that moment, everything in my life felt perfectly aligned, the kind of perfect. You don't question the kind, you just trust. We had been planning the wedding for almost a year. Every detail had been carefully chosen. The venue overlooked a quiet lake just outside the city. The decorations were simple but elegant, and somehow everything felt exactly right. My fiancé had always been the organized one. She knew what she wanted. She handled most of the planning, but my best friend was the one who filled in all the gaps. She helped pick the music. She handled last-minute changes. She even calmed me down when the stress got too much. Honestly, I don't think the wedding would have come together without her. That's what made everything that happened later so hard to understand. Looking back, there were small moments that didn't make sense, tiny things I ignored at the time, like how my best friend would sometimes go quiet when my fiancé entered the room, or how she avoided certain conversations at the time. I thought she was just overwhelmed. Planning a wedding isn't easy, especially when it's not even your own. The morning of the wedding started early. I barely slept the night before, not because I was nervous, but because I was excited. Everything I had worked toward felt like it was finally happening. My phone was full of messages, friends, family, everyone wishing me luck, everyone telling me how happy they were for me. Around 9 a.m., my best friend knocked on my door. She was already dressed, but something about her felt off. I couldn't explain it. She didn't smile the way she usually did. Her energy felt different, like she was holding something back. She asked if we could talk just for a minute. I told her to come in. She stepped inside and closed the door behind her. For a few seconds, she didn't say anything. She just stood there, looking at me. Then she said something I didn't expect. Are you sure about this? At first, I thought she was joking, or maybe just being emotional. It's a wedding after all. People say strange things. I laughed it off, told her of course I was sure, but she didn't. To laugh, she didn't even react. She just looked at me serious. That's when I felt it, that small shift in my chest, the kind you can't ignore. I asked her what was going on. She hesitated. Then she said, "There's something you need to know." She reached into her bag, pulled out her phone, and for a moment she just stared at the screen like she was deciding whether to go through with it. Then she handed it to me. I looked down and saw a message thread. At first, I didn't understand what I was seeing, but then I saw the name my fiancé and another name I didn't recognize. I started reading, and within seconds, my entire body went cold. The messages weren't recent. They went back months. Late night conversations, private jokes, plans to meet. And then the part that hit the hardest, they weren't just emotional, they were physical. My hands started shaking. I scrolled faster, hoping I misunderstood, hoping there was some explanation. But there wasn't. Every message made it clear. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a one-time thing. It had been happening for months behind my back while we were planning our wedding, while we were building a future. I looked up at my best friend. I couldn't even form a sentence. She didn't say "I told you so." She didn't look angry. She just looked sad, like she had been carrying this for a long time. I asked her how she found out. She told me she had seen something by accident. At first she wasn't sure, so she waited, watched, and eventually she found the truth. She said she didn't tell me earlier because she didn't know how, because she knew how much this would destroy me, but she couldn't let me walk into a marriage built on lies. Not today. Not like this. I sat down. Everything around me felt unreal. The room, the sounds outside, it all felt distant, like it didn't belong to me anymore. I kept thinking about the past few months, every moment, every conversation, every "I love you," and now all of it felt fake. I asked her one question: does anyone else know? She shook her head no. That meant I had a choice. Right there in that moment, I could walk out there, smile, pretend everything was fine, go through with the ceremony and deal with the truth later, or I could stop everything right now before it was too late. I stood up. My heart was racing, but my mind was clear. For the first time all morning, I knew what I had to do. I walked toward the ceremony. People were smiling. Everything was ready. My fiancé stood there waiting for me, smiling like nothing was wrong. I stepped in front of her and asked, "Is there anything you want to tell me before we start?" She looked confused and nervous, but said no. I showed her the messages. Her face changed instantly. The smile disappeared. She tried to explain, said it wasn't what it looked like, but it didn't matter anymore. I took a step back and said, "This is over." The room went silent. People started whispering, but I didn't care. I turned around and walked away from everything. The wedding, the plans, the future. Because I knew one thing clearly: I didn't lose my future that day. I saved myself from a life built on lies.